My fucking heart. So I would have never thought this day would actually come. It's been over 5 years since DayZ has first launched into early access, and if I remember back then, the whole game was just a mess. It basically tried to just do what the mod did. I remember the first thing that was going to be planned was just basically making the mod basically a standalone thing before they actually decided to make it its own game, which is now this. But it was trying a little too hard when it first came out to be like the mod, and therefore it was just not going to go this route. They actually had to do something different with the full game, which they actually did, and I'm surprised with what they went with, and it works really well, I think. Sure, the development has taken a really long time to actually get to the point where it is now, and would you actually call this a 1.0? I personally would not say so, but it feels quite polished already. It still has a few very bad bugs, and those need to be ironed out, but it is in a very playable state now. I actually played this game for 32 hours according to Steam this week now, and I could say, as a DayZ veteran, I can only look forward to seeing more of what's coming in the future. Like I said, there's gonna be new maps and such. I think the creator of the mouse is also working with the dev team together, and they're actually remaking the mouse for DayZ standalone. And I really cannot wait that, because the mouse was one of my favorite DayZ mod maps. But yeah, to get back to the actual game itself, DayZ as it is now, where we play in Journals, and if you're out of the loop, maybe you haven't played since the alpha. Is it still like this whole force feeding bullshit that it used to be, or that the Mike Tyson punching in your face knockout kind of game? Definitely not anymore. It is definitely more polished than it used to be. Like, the whole combat system has been reworked. You just see it here in the footage. Instead of having to aim for specific body parts, you just basically swing your weapon at the zombie. It doesn't really matter anymore when it comes to melee. The only gripe I have, it doesn't feel very impactful. Like, you just basically swing the axe through the zombies, and it just feels kind of weird, but I guess it works, and honestly, it's a much better working system still than what we had with like the whole just swinging and just hit and having the bullets out, because it actually has a proper impact sound now for hitting flesh, for example, like hitting the zombies or hitting wood or hitting metal. Like, it doesn't do this bullet impact ricochet sound anymore. And the game also got rid of its clunkiness, so basically the movement doesn't feel like you're pressing one button and it's just kind of feels sticky, or if you try to stand up from crouching or going into prone, actually that button is now the same button. You just hold it to go prone and just press it for getting up. Vaulting has been completely removed and has been replaced with a jump, which you can see here can be really useful for jumping over walls from like scaffoldings and stuff like this. It enables a lot more movement. And speaking of which, that also includes that fall damage has been reworked, and you don't die from like a 2-meter fall. You just lose some health, and you can just go on and regenerate your health if you have well hydrated and well fed. A lot of interactions, including sprinting, now also use something called stamina, which you can see in the bottom left corner of the screen. But on a lot of community servers, they actually made it so the stamina is infinite, so you can sprint infinitely, and you can do all other interactions that require stamina. For example, what I've seen is base building and stuff like this that actually requires stamina, or climbing ladders. I'll be coming back to base building in a bit, though. First off, I gotta just mention that they actually completely reworked the entire scripting system for the game from the old Armor 2 code that they used into a new code which they called Actually, they call it the Infusion Engine now, which is basically, it is still, from my understanding, still the old Arma 2 engine. However, the whole scripting system has been replaced with a new system that allows much more flexibility when it comes to scripting. And thanks to that, it's why we have things such as the better movement for the character now, which is the new character controller, as they call it, and stuff like jumping, and it works. I'm gonna just pull a Todd Howard here and just say it just works. And I just mentioned base building. Basically, base building, you would normally think, if you haven't played the alpha, there's stuff like the tent still and the barrels. Of course, it's still there, as you can see here, it's still there, but you can actually choose where to place the things now, and it's kind of weird because you would think I would be able to just place it there on the ground, but for some reason it just works in that place. I don't know why it was in that case like this, but other than that, if you actually place it somewhere else, it works. And then of course, what about actual base building? Can you actually build walls? Can you actually build a house now or something like that? Yes, sort of, you can. You can now. Base building is using a very clever system where you basically just craft a fence kit, place this fence kit somewhere on the ground, then you just get some logs by cutting down trees, and you just dig those logs into the ground, and then you just need some planks, some nails, and you can get going building that wall. Of course, instead of just building a wooden wall, you can also build a metal one, which, however, you can only find the metal in industrial places, large industrial places such as factories or larger garages for, I don't know, for trucks or something like that. It really takes a while to get a base built up for, like, if you don't want to fortify a already existing house, you just want to build your own like fenced up area. It's gonna take you a longer time. You're probably gonna go through a lot of resources before you actually get to finish building that place. And by resources, I basically mean axes, hacksaws, hammers, hatchets, all this kind of stuff. And then there's the sad part about the whole base building thing. It's kind of pointless in my opinion right now, because basically, if you're a player and you have an axe or something like that, and you can just go up onto one of those fences and just start tearing it down from the outside. It is an interaction that requires a lot of stamina and quite a while to do, but it is possible to do if you're patient enough. So yeah, if you're not online, then someone just can break into that and all your stuff is gone. So I've seen there's a mod for it, and that's bringing me to the next thing I want to talk about is the mod support. There's a mod for it that actually disables the destruction of your base walls. Because right now, what is the point of building a base if everyone can just tear it down this easily? It is too easy to break down base walls. And you would think the aforementioned metal walls would basically protect you from those kind of attacks. It doesn't seem like that, because I've found someone else's metal walls before, and I was able to just tear it down just like wood ones. Maybe it took a little longer than that, but it is still possible. Now, before I go to the mods, I just quickly want to mention that cars are actually in the game as well now, and they're working pretty well from what I've seen. I just did not really have the luck to actually get one completely fixed to the point of it being drivable. And so I can't say much about what cars are like now, but from what I've seen from videos, they have actually worked really well, and I cannot wait till I can actually get the one fixed that you see in this footage here right now. So talking about mods, there's really not much I can say. I just see all these mods that I would really like to try out. I have yet to find a good server that actually has some of these mods. If you know any, just let me know down below. Preferably it should be a European-based server, but if it's like East Coast America, then it should also work. So other than that, I don't really have much else to say. Other than why don't I think this is not a 1.0 really? Like I said in pretty much the beginning of the video, it's because a lot of content is still missing, basically. There's a lot of content that have been announced like a while ago, such as, for example, the planes and helicopters, which don't seem to be in the game yet, or at least I haven't seen any. And I haven't really kept up with development info, so I don't know if they're actually working on it at the moment. I'm guessing they're not working on it at the moment because, well, Christmas is just around the corner. And there's still a few bugs that really need to be ironed out, such, for example, something that happened to me a lot is that I would interact with something and it just wouldn't work, and then I couldn't interact with anything else anymore, and I had to relog the server. And that was kind of annoying. That should be ironed out. And other than that, there's some rubber banding issues still that seem to be related towards doors still. So that has returned, and that's kind of annoying as well. So yeah, I don't feel this is a full finished product yet, but I feel this is probably a good point where you could say, yes, it's getting close there. So if you had previously bought DayZ and you wanted to hold off on playing it till a lot more stuff has been fixed and a lot more stuff has been added, I would say give it a try again now, see how you like it. I personally haven't had too many run-ins with other players, as just really that one that I had in the beginning of the video. To be honest, the server I played on was only a 30-slot server, and it was usually on high population, but still I have hardly seen anyone. I only heard a few shots in the distance sometimes, but that's pretty much it. And on the note of PvP, I gotta say it, the gunplay feels pretty good as well. The hit registration feels good, and yeah, I got nothing else to say anymore really. So this is pretty much it, guys. Thanks for watching the video, and if you like to see more DayZ, you know what to do. Leave a like, subscribe, all that good shit. And I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.